The doorbell whispered my name at 2:13 a.m. Motion detected. Person at your front door. His face filled the screen so close the pores looked like moon craters. He didn't blink. His breath filmed the glass into frost, and with one finger he wrote Alex in the condensation. Backwards, perfectly legible from my side. I lay in the dark with my phone burning white against the ceiling. Downstairs, the chime rang again. Not a ding but a soft throat sound, like someone trying out my doorbell's voice. He tilted his head until one pupil swallowed the fisheye lens. "Don't ignore me," he said. But the audio app rendered it wrong. A low, band-pass growl that made the speaker rattle. I thumbed talk. "Who are you?" He smiled without teeth and leaned back just enough to frame himself. A cap with no logo, a coat wet as kelp, hands empty, nails chewed raw. Behind him the porch light painted him in a weak halo and the street looked drowned. He said, in my neighbor Dan's voice, "Exactly right. It's me." I froze. "Dan?" He shook his head and every pixel on the screen tore sideways and stitched back. When it settled, the voice that came out was my mother's, dead 5 years. "Sweetheart, the chain is on," she said. "Take it off." My stomach turned to ice. I ended the audio. I didn't move. Upstairs, the heater clicked, expanding like knuckles. The house held its breath with me. Motion detected. Person at your front door. The same notification over and over, as if the algorithm couldn't accept that he'd already arrived. I flicked to the live feed. He wasn't there. The porch was rain and empty steps. My heart started again in a new, ugly rhythm. Something tapped the glass once, twice, just out of frame. Then his face slid up from the bottom, upside down, smiling. "Don't ignore me," he breathed, lips close enough to fog the lower edge. I hit record and then 911. The call screen stuck, unfroze, stuck again. The ringtone came through underwater and cut. Then a calm voice bled in like dial tone learning to talk. "Describe the face," it said. "Who is this?" I asked. "Is this dispatch?" "It's important you describe the face," the voice repeated, not listening, the syllables smearing at the ends like tape drag. I hung up and texted Dan. "Are you awake? Someone's at my door pretending to be you." 3 dots. Then K? He sent a selfie from his couch, dog on his lap, TV blue on his glasses. Nowhere near my porch. The doorbell chimed again, longer, like it had to be held down. My app labeled it ring held. The man laughed, and the laugh came through the chime as if the bell had learned a human throat. I opened the mic. "If you try the handle, I call the police," I said, throat tight. He lifted his hands, empty, palms out. His sleeves slid and showed something ink black around his wrist. Letters I couldn't read. He spread his fingers slow until the joints clicked against the lens. Grease crescents lived under his nails like moons. "Let me show you a photo," he whispered. A still frame arrived before I could stop it. It was my front hallway inside, warm, lamp on, the framed map, the blue mug on the console. The angle was too high, like a ceiling corner, and at the bottom of the frame a sliver of my shoulder. I looked up from the phone. The lamp in the hall was off. The blue mug wasn't there. The image wasn't now. It was then. Or soon. "Where are you?" I said, too loud for my own walls. "At your door," he said, with no mouth movement. The sound didn't sync with his lips. The app clock stuttered, 2 hours 13 minutes and 44 seconds to 2 hours 13 minutes and 12 seconds to 2 hours 13 minutes and 44 seconds again. As if watching a heartbeat have second thoughts. The back camera pinged and failed. Offline. The side gate sensor reported open. Down the hall, my dog whined once from a dream and went quiet like someone had comforted him with a gloved hand. New still. The same hallway but darker. The blue mug knocked on its side. A thin arc of water freezing in midair. My hands shook so bad I opened the mic and said, "What do you want?" He leaned close until my whole world was his left eye and the gray sea of it. "To be let in the right way," he said. "Not the porch light way. Not the police way. The way you let things in when you remember them. You remember me." "No," I said. But something old inside me stood up and turned its face toward a kitchen I hadn't cooked in for years, a winter scarf in a drawer, a man at a basement door telling me there was nothing to be afraid of, not really. He tapped twice directly on the lens. A hairline crack skittered across the glass like ice growing. The sound of it made my teeth ache. I padded down the stairs, socked, slow, phone out, every board announcing my foot. Halfway, the house leaned as if it listened too. On the live feed, he was gone again. The app caption said person detected and highlighted a rectangle where nothing moved. I reached the peephole. Cold breathed through it. I didn't look. I put my ear to the wood. If I open, I said, someone will get hurt. Yes, he said and laughed, and the laugh came from the wrong place. Through the return vent, out of the sink drain, from under the stairs where the Christmas boxes slept. I went to the kitchen and grabbed the biggest knife I own. It made me feel like a child with a toy. I set my phone against the fruit bowl so the screen faced me and the doorbell feed was my whole world. Upstairs, a floorboard answered a step I didn't take. Another notification. Face recognized. MOM. The snapshot showed only a blur of mouth and cheek pressed to the lens. A shape of someone who would never be at my door again. I pressed the back of my knuckles to my teeth until it hurt and hurt. Stop, I said to the phone. Stop using her. The porch camera filled with night like a curtain dropped. Then 2 points lighter than the rest where eyes would be, not glowing, just refusing to be as black as everything else. Open, the darkness said, or my grief said, or the old basement did. I backed away until the counter trapped me. The chime rang, steady, too long. It bled into the home assistant screen on the wall, which woke, flickered, and showed the porch. Then, for a breath, it showed the inside. My kitchen, me, then porch again, like the signal lost track of which side it served. My phone vibrated on the counter so hard it crawled. A video had arrived from an unknown number. Play? The thumbnail was my own front steps shot from the sidewalk. I hit it because the part of me that needs answers is the part it uses to walk in. The video began with the timestamp, 2:13 a.m. The door opened. I stepped out, barefoot, eyes wide like I'd been crying, phone in my hand, knife not. The camera must have been at street level. It watched me cross the porch like a sleepwalker and reach toward the lens as if to brush hair out of its eyes. I turned to the real door, to the actual wood inches from my face, knife in my hand and blood loud in my neck. I didn't go outside, I said to no one. The video me leaned down to the camera and whispered something. The audio glitched, swallowed, spit back 3 words. Don't ignore me. The live feed showed a fingertip ease into view and cover the lens. Everything went gray close up and slick like skin. In that gray, something darker moved. A shadow inside a shadow. As if someone crouched behind the lens and exhaled carefully into the house. The locks clacked. Not open. Not yet. Just thinking about it. I looked up at the ceiling corner above the hall and saw a thumbtack hole I didn't remember, and from it the smallest draft, and from the draft a smell like old carpet in a shut room. I looked back at the phone. The doorbell took one last photo before the lens went blind. In the glass, mirrored tiny in the curve of his eye, was my kitchen behind me, the blue mug upright again, and a figure at the top of the stairs, half seen, head tilted in the way my mother would listen when I lied. A text arrived from an unsaved number with my area code. It was only a single sentence. Thanks for finally answering. I've been inside since the funeral.